Let's start with the problem that we had. The problem was we needed to buy a new heating system, and we started with 150 million BTUs. That's the amount of energy that we needed. It was the total fuel load that we needed to heat the entire house. Now, it's the total load, it's the useful heat plus the waste heat, right? There's always some efficiency. And that was 150 million BTUs, and I told everyone that the system was 65% efficient. What that meant is that only 138, what it meant is that we needed only 65% of that 150 to actually heat the house, right? That's the amount of heat I need to put into the radiators. And so let's see, the net load of the house is 97.5 million BTUs. This is the heat that we must deliver to the home to stay warm, right? It's not 150, it's 65% of that. Now, when we buy a new system, we've got to deliver this, but the systems aren't 100% efficient. So if they were 100% efficient, you'd have to deliver 97.5. You'd be done. That would be the answer if you used electric baseboard heating. Electric baseboard heating is 100% efficient. You put power to it, it heats up, it transfers the heat to the house. It's expensive, but it's 100% efficient. A heat pump is actually 300% efficient, right? It has a coefficient of performance of 300. So you don't actually have to put 97.5 million BTUs in if you're using a heat pump. You only need to put in 33, or 97 divided by 3. But if you're going to use a System 2000 oil at 88% efficiency, you don't have to put in 97, you got to put in 110. You got to put in a little more because it's only 89% efficient. What does that mean? 11% is going up the chimney, right? And so I got to pay for that 11%, so this number is 11% more. The gas was 95% efficient, so that's 103 million BTUs, and the pellet boiler was 93% efficient. It's 105 million BTUs. That is the amount of energy that I needed to burn or produce in these devices to get that 97 into my house. So that's the first thing that we needed to do. Second thing we needed to do was to pay for it. Okay, so that's my install cost. Okay, and then I needed to know what the fuel content was, because I have oil, I have gas, I have pellets, and I have kilowatt hours of electricity. And those are all units of energy, so I just put those here. That gave me my quantity. My quantity is different depending on the unit of my fuel. Okay, and you could have done it in any, some of you did it in different units, that's fine. I needed 790 gallons, I needed 1,000 decatherms, I needed 6.7 tons of wood, and I needed 9,525 kilowatt hours of electricity. And then I come across here, this is my unit price, this is my total price, annual fuel price, okay? 2,017,16,14. So just looking at this, which of these systems had the least fuel price? It's the it's the heat pump, right? The heat pump is the winner. But the heat pump was also the most expensive to buy, right? You correctly traded off those. So this was my annual fuel savings. The annual fuel savings was the amount I was spending, $3,000, minus the actual cost right now, and that's my savings. Okay. Then what I did is I did very simple payback. Simple payback was simply taking this cost, dividing it by my fuel savings, and my payback period was about 10 years. Okay,
That's
so
exactly what we did for the biomass plant. The very first assignment we had this semester was to say, what's the fuel payback period for the biomass?
So okay, that was great, but we gave you a little bit of different scenarios. But you got to finance this, right? And if you got to finance this, and we finance it 2.5% for 60 months, this is the actual finance cost. It's not $10,000; it's $10,648 because you got to pay the interest. And so it turned out that my finance payback period was a little bit longer. Did I get there? Nope. Here it is. It went from a simple payback of 12 years to an actual payback of 13. So you should include that in whatever, if you need to finance, make an investment, you've got to include that investment in the cost of the, in this case, our system or a power plant or whatever. So is to do something a little bit more sophisticated. I want to know what's my cash flow over time? Okay? I want to know if I make this investment over 25 years, am I going to be better off or worse off over 25 years? In other words, I can pay for the system in 10 years, but what about over 25 years? So we have an economic term for that, right? What is that called?
Net present value?
Net present value. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I would like to calculate, I'm going to invest for 25 years, and I want to calculate my cash flow over 25 years, and I'm going to compare it to the status quo. And the status quo was my old boiler. All right? So I've actually done that calculation, so I can cheat now. And, well, let me tell you what I'm doing. So, here are my 25 years. I'm going to do pellets, 1 through 25. The first column, and we'll put this on the website. The first column is the old system, and the old system was costing me $3,000 a year in fuel. I didn't have to maintain it, didn't have to buy it, but it was costing me $3,000 a year in fuel. And fuel's going up by 2% a year. I had to make an economic projection. So this is 2% more, 2% more, 2% more, 2% more, all the way out. Okay? Going out over time. Now, so this is my total cost if I do nothing. Right? I'd add all those up. Now I decide to go with a pellet boiler. And I have to pay for it. And I only have a 5-year financing option. Right? It was 2.9% for 5 years. So I had to pay $2,875 a year for the first 5 years. And then that number goes to zero. It's paid off. And so that was my capital investment. And then my new fuel costs are less, right? $1,600 versus $3,000. So my total costs are going to be the sum of these two. And my cash flow, which is red, negative, is the difference between my total cost here and what I was paying in the old system. Right, so my new total cost is actually $4,500 for the first year. I was paying $3,000, so I'm $1,500 in the red, plus the red, the first year. And I'm about $1,500 in the red the second year, the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, because I'm still paying for the pellet system. But in year 6, my pellet system is paid for. I'm saving $1,400 over what I would have been paying for fuel. And now I start to make, now my cash flow changes direction, right? Now I'm in the green. And it comes along, boom, 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 and I put a line on it after our game on Friday, right? This is my line, my break-even point. There's my payback period. It was 11 years. So I was losing $1,500 the first 5 years each year, but I'm gaining it, and now it's paid off. And now from year 10 to year 25, this thing is saving me a lot of money. Now, let's be clear. I'm still buying fuel. Money's still coming out of my wallet. But it's a lot less than it would have been if I'd stuck with the old conventional boiler. So now I come out and I'm all the way running down here and I'm earning all this. So if I add all this up, this is my total amount of savings. It's the negative numbers here and all these positive numbers. And in year 25, I have saved $28,000 in fuel over what I would have done if I just stayed with my old system. Right? So yeah, I spent $10,000 on this system, but I saved $28,000 in fuel over 25 years. Now this total savings is in the future, okay? And net present value is going to say, all right, I'm invested for 25 years, I've saved 28. 745, right? That's what it's worth 25 years in the future. But wait a minute. I have lots of ways to make $28,000 in the future. I could put $100 in a savings account every month. Or I could take $3,000 and put it into an IRA and let it appreciate interest for 25 years, right? There are lots of things I could spend my money on. I kind of need a boiler, otherwise my house is freezing cold. But if, as we evaluate different things we want to invest in, what am I going to spend my money in? Well, this number isn't actually, this is the future value. The net present value is what would this investment be worth if I made it today as opposed to in the future. Did I get that right?
Amazing. Yes.
Okay.
Well done.
Right. All right, now, so what do? So now what I do is I use my present value calculation to calculate what this is worth in today. Okay, so I need to make some assumptions. I need to know, A, how many years? So N is going to be equal to 25 times 12, right? The future value is equal to 28,745. The interest rate. What do you think the market interest rate should be for 25-year investment? If you were going to go make an investment, what would you expect to be a safe, fair rate of return? Don't say 20%. What? 3%. So I actually have this slider right here. You can't see it. But if you bring up my spreadsheet, you can move this up and down, and it changes the interest rate right there. Okay? So this goes up and down. It's just a way to, it's just kind of a fun way to let me mess around with it. So as I change this up and down, I'll make it 3%. So if I were to invest at an investment rate of 3%, this investment that produced me $28,000, I'd have to put $13,000 in the bank today. Okay? So the net present value, so the interest rate is equal to 3% per year, or 0.03 divided by 12, if I'm going to put it into my present value equation, because my interval for compounding is a month. So that's equal to $13,600. So the present value is equal to 13,600 and change. So should I make this investment in this boiler?